Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Thrift Store Prepper, and in this episode we're going to be making a special 2-for-1 recipe video celebrating 50 subscribers, 50 videos made, although we've gone past that now. I've since uploaded a few, but we've passed the 50 videos made mark and I've got 50 plus subscribers now. So in the space of a week things have been pretty amazing, and I actually just abandoned the live feed because after 5 minutes I had nobody watching, and maybe I'll do a weekly review to sum up this very exciting and interesting week in the thrift store prepper history. So that's not what this video is about. What this video is about is the celebrationary 2-course 50-50 meal. So we had 50 subscribers, we had 50 videos, so we decided let's make a celebrationary meal. I was going to go to the kitchen. My roommate has gone out for a walk at the moment, but at risk of him coming back in, walking in on production, I decided we'd go to the safety of my basement and keep it old school in the way we mostly do it and cook it in our basement. So I got a bunch of stuff in a Dollarama bag today that I didn't really do an unbagging for because it isn't really anything for the pantry or for the purpose other than this. And I have just realized with all my preparedness I've forgotten a very important thing that I'm going to have to go and grab, so bear with me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I forgot my can opener and another couple of things. So back to the video. What are we doing? That's right, we're making 2 courses, or maybe 2 meals, not 2 courses. We're going to make 2 meals and 2 recipes, and we're going to use similar ingredients in both to utilize the multi-purpose of our items. I do have a couple of things left over from last week's video, and something even from maybe the weeks before that I've had in the fridge upstairs. I don't normally keep stuff up there, but these were items I do. So we're going to be using up some items from previous videos, and we're going to be using the same item to make 2 dishes to kind of demonstrate how, if you only have a few items in your pantry, you can use them multiple ways. So let's look at some of the stuff that you have. So from last week we've got our soy beverage, and from a previous video we have some coconut milk. So those are things that are going to influence in the video. And another thing we've got here are some pineapples. Now these I think are 82 cents, and this one has a dent in it. I don't know if that was a pre-store on the way home, but it's in a light syrup. In I think these were 82 cents or maybe even $1, who knows, I can't remember, but they weren't very expensive, and these are something that you could or should have in your pantry, as they give you a little bit of vitamin C, actually quite a bit of vitamin C, and even a tiny bit of protein, it looks there, and you get some sugars and some fibers. But when we look at the numbers on the calories here, I don't know if you can see that. Probably let's try and arrange the light, but the numbers on the side here aren't very good. And if you are on limited space and you had the choice between buying the pineapples and potatoes at your local store to go in your pantry, I would pick the potatoes over the pineapples. You're going to get more bang for your buck, and that's the Scentsy choice. So this is something that's going to be used in our recipe. And something else we've got from previous videos rather, from as recent as last week, is some of the oatmeal. So we've got oatmeal. We're not going to use all of them, but we're going to probably use some of them. What else do we got? We got some coconuts. These are items that you've seen before in the thrift store prepper videos, I'm sure. If you are new to the channel, then check out the recipe playlists and the certainly the pantry build playlist, and you will see these items in the unbaggings, I'm sure, and I explain. But we've got some sliced mangoes here, and we've got some coconut here, so you're probably getting a theme that we're going with something a little bit tropical. What else do we got? Nuts. We got our trail mix, and as this is a celebrationary video and we're doing the 50-50 celebration meal, I've got to kind of treat got some cashews. I was going to say a guilty pleasure, but they're kind of not really guilty. But they're 100 grams for $2.50 as opposed to 210 grams for $2 in these. But I was going to add those and maybe add some chocolate as well to make myself a fancy trail mix to eat tonight after all my production and video making is done, and I do actually try and get some relaxation on my one and only day off this week. So we got some nuts, both the cashews, and within this bag there's almonds. We've seen this last week, the tropical mix, and it has tropical fruits in there. So you're probably going to be getting a bit of a similar oatmeal dish as we did last week, but different in the sense that it's not going to have the potato in. And with regards to that, I think it was a pretty decent dish while there was sugar and the nuts were there. But once you kind of got through the sugar and the nuts and it was just the oatmeal and the potato, it was kind of funky, I guess. It wasn't the best thing. I mean, again, in an emergency situation, it's not about enjoying, it's about getting something in your belly, and certainly it would contain a lot of nutrients as well as filling you up if you did catch that video. So a little similar. I'm sorry if this content is being recycled, but it's different but the same. Something else we did show you in the $10 Tuesday unbagging was some spicy chicken Vienna sausage, and the last item, in case you were wondering and worrying, ramen. And we went with the fancy ramen, and this is a bowl noodle, and it has something called, actually that's the French side, let's look at the English side so I can read it, for ultimate picante taste. It has a soup booster in it. Now this is $1 and an expensive way to buy your ramen, because you can get 5 of these bad boys for the same price, and all you really are paying for is the convenience of the bowl. But we're going to use the bowl as our cooking sauce, seeing as that's what it is designed for. We're not going to be using any bags today, but we may be using a bag to cook the oatmeal in, and it may well be one of these bags, or maybe even the cashew nut bag, I don't know. So those are the things that we've got going on. I got a few utensils off screen, and I've even got a real chopping board to use today and a real knife, so we won't be using our fingers as it is a celebratory meal. So where are we going to start here? I don't know. There's kind of a lot of food on the table and stuff going on, so maybe let's open up the ramen first of all. Now, something I've been having terrible... Oh, okay, I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say, something I have terrible difficulty with is opening packages. Now, actually, you do get a few items in here. So we got some chili sauce, and this will be the seasoning packet, which is chili and lime flavor in this instance, and chicken, and what looks like some dehydrated sweet corn, maybe some crispy onions, and if I had mine handy I could have always added some more, but we're going to go with what we've got in the pouch there. We've got some extra seasoning, and you can see it's ramen, so we are going to crush it up because it does hydrate quicker. And something I also realized I've forgotten to get is hot water from the tap. So what I might do, once I've crushed this up without getting some on the table, and you know it's not a thrift store prepper recipe until we spilt some of our ingredients or not, and as we always teach, there's no need to cry over spilt ramen, and there is always the 5-second rule, and even in some kitchens I've worked at, there's a 25-hour rule, but I'm not going to tell you that story. So we're crushing up our ramen as we always do, and it's a little bit difficult when you don't have the access of the bag to kind of protect it from going back. Once you do get it broken down, it's kind of easier to break. So we're going to continue to just crumble that up as fine as we can. And we're going to put that in there, and any discarded ramen that are on the table we're just going to throw in as well. Right, so what else are we going to be doing and adding to this? So let me try and make some room and put some of this stuff off camera. I'm kind of talking as though this is a live feed when it isn't, so never mind, excuse me, and we'll just figure this out as we go along. So what I want to do is make some space. We've got our ramen here, and at this interval we're going to get the chopping board into place, and we're going to just leave the seasoning in the ramen for now. The next item that we're going to be putting into our bowl is the hot and spicy Vienna sausages, and that's a lot easier to get into, and you can see there is some liquid juice in there, so maybe rather than get some hot water, although ultimately I think we will have to get some to add to it, we're going to put that in because guess what, that's some flavor, and if you were in an emergency situation there is a benefit of the can. So let me get out of my source of light. There you can see the little wieners in there, so we're going to pop them out. And another thing you can do if you don't have a source of cutting or a knife, that you can do this the prison way, which is like that. So you can utilize the lid and then chop the best you can, but it is kind of dangerous, and I'm not going to get too quick and fancy with my chopping skills, but we're going to chop up our wieners as much as we can, and as I say, we don't want to be going too crazy with the I think I even maybe scraped myself a little there, but you can see you can use your lid as a knife. And you know what, even though I did bring a knife, for the purpose of the thrift store prepper philosophy, we're going to stick with the lid as our chopping device in this instance. So there we go, we're chopping these down nice and small, and really all they are is just baby little frankfurters or wieners that have been chopped up and put into a can. So maybe get like 3 wieners total in here. So wieners are going in with the noodles, and we're going to continue to chop them the best we can. And there we go, you see that's probably better than the knife you have in your kitchen at home, because something most people have at home are very, very dull knives in their kitchen, and something that's very dangerous, in fact more dangerous than a sharp knife. There we go, we're not talking about knife safety, we're just talking about chopping our spicy Vienna sausage. Now, if you've had this, it's kind of a little similar to bologna. We may even be going a lot overkill on the Vienna sausage to ramen ratio, but never mind. And I bet many of you then who have been following closely were expecting there you go, but no, we didn't get one. So seeing as we have the seasoning here, we might as well get that in the packet now. We're going to utilize as much as we can get. So in that goes, and make sure we get everything. Look, we want to get our money's worth. I'm sorry, I'm doing that off camera. So we put in those little dry sweet corns, and I actually am going to use quite a lot of the seasoning. In fact, I'll probably use it all, seeing as I've got nowhere to put it, and I don't really recommend it because it has a lot of MSG, but this is a one meal exception. It's a celebration, so when you celebrate you don't cut back on anything normally, so it's times to be extravagant. And the last thing we're going to put in is our chili sauce. So we've got our noodles, we've got our Vienna sausage, we've got our seasonings, and soon we're going to have, that kind of looks like something you might need your IgG bag to clean up, and who knows, it may even look like that again at some point in the not too distant future. And lucky I have an IgG bag close at hand in case that does happen. So we've tossed some of those in. Where are we going next with this? So seeing as we're doing some chopping, we're going to chop our next item, and that's going to be some mangoes. So I'm going to open those up, toss the garbage that we don't need, and we're not going to use all the mangoes. In fact, we're only going to use maybe a couple of those, and we'll see how our chopping of the mangoes goes. I'm actually going to eat a piece. Forgive me, this stuff's pretty bomb actually. Now, I have used these many times in my prepper pantry, but these are some of the things that I find very hard to resist, and they're pretty good and a relatively healthy snack. I don't know if you're picking up numbers, so for 5 pieces you get 2% iron, 10% calcium, 10% vitamin C, 4% vitamin A, 1 gram of protein, 23 grams of sugars, 4% of your carb from your fiber, so daily fiber, 12% of your carbs, as 2% sodium, so very low, no fat, no cholesterol, and 150 calories. So I don't know if we're going to put 5 pieces in to give us the extra 150 calories, but yeah, you know, we're going to need a real knife for that. Not everything's as easy to cut. And as you can see, this is my roommate's knife, which is very dull, and I don't think we'd have much luck cutting butter with this. And that's a phrase we're almost looking at maybe I should use the axe. You know what, why don't I show off and use the axe? It'll be a demonstration. So something I bought earlier today was my axe, which is going to go in. It still has the wrapping packaging on it, so let's see how sharp the axe is. Yeah, well, we're not getting on too well with that, but there you go. We've used our axe in a purposeful way, so it wasn't exactly... Now somewhere I've lost the rubber thing that goes on the edge of the axe in my excitement to use it, and we'll figure that out later. It can't be far, so let's try and go back to the knife, and there is a little bit of a sharp piece at the end there, so because this is so hard, we're definitely not gonna be... Oh my god, I wish I had my knife from work. This would have been done 10, 20, 30 seconds ago. So I'm getting a bit pissed off with that. We're going to disregard the blunt knife, and there is a very accurate demonstration of why you don't have not sharp knives in your pantry. So probably the better thing would have been to get some scissors. That would have probably got through this, so forgive me. That's a better way of doing it. We just put it underneath, and you know, it doesn't have to be neat. I was going to do some nice julienne if I had a sharp knife, but as I say, this one's not very good, but we're using what we have at hand again to throw in here. So I've got some of that brown stuff on my fingers. I don't think we're going to be doing any more chopping at this point. Let's put the mangoes to the side because we're not coming back with those. Let's throw the lid away. Let's throw the Vienna sausage packet away. Let's scrape that up and put it in a bowl. So the bowl's still there, the cutting board's here. We're going to add a couple of coconut flakes, and when I say a couple, we're just going to get a little pinch and crumble that in. And the reason being that we're going to make a little broth for this. So what I'm going to do, let's get the bigger one. You may remember this from a previous cooking video. It was the chicken broth powder that I had, that I utilized in one of my weed baggies to downsize, and we had this left over, and it became our ramen cooker. But today, I don't know if it's going to become our oatmeal cooker or our broth maker. I think it's going to be our broth maker. So although we've got a lot of salt going into the MSG, we're going to kind of compensate that by making a broth. Now what we're going to do is add a little bit, not too much, of the coconut milk. And I did have a little lick of this. This is pretty good still. And even if it starts to ferment, it will give us some intoxication. And the other thing we're going to do, just to start this off, is a little splash of the soy beverage. And the only reason we're putting that in to get a few extra vitamins and minerals into this particular dish. and I'm sure Gibson Girl, my longest commentator, is cringing as we speak. So we're going to mix this up to kind of make it a little bit more milky. And a little less gloopy. And I guess this kind of coconut milk's got a similar, I guess, texture to sour cream. And this has just come out of the refrigerator, so it's still a little bit stiff. So hopefully we can mix that down the best we can. Now, what I should probably do is start the hot tap running and get myself ready for that. 1 minute. Alrighty, so I'm back with some very, very hot water. So what we're going to do is pour some of that in there and mix it up. And I almost realized that when I do pause it, you don't know that I've been gone. It's almost an instantaneous transition, rather like in Back to the Future when they meet at the Twin Pines Mall and Doc sends Einstein into the future with the DeLorean, and he misses the minute in order to... If you've seen Back to the Future, you know what I'm talking about. We're not going to be explaining the time travel theory and physics at the moment. So now we've got that a little bit more runny. I'm actually going to have a little taste. Now, that nasty soy benefit drink, or the soy beverage rather, is not good. It's not good at all. And you get a little bit of the coconut that's in there. So we're going to pour that in and mix it up, and hopefully that's going to soak everything up and cook down into some kind of, well, I guess South Asian maybe themed stew. So, you know, the corn's actually a bit of a nice addition there. And maybe we could even throw a few cashews in, seeing as it is. So that's pretty much mixed up in there. And while that is mixing, we are going to throw in some cashews. And I'm going to try not to eat as many as I can while we're going on. So let's just put in a healthy amount of cashews. So we're going to put those to the side, and you know, at some point we are going to be saving the bags. Sorry, I was just concentrating on my stirring there. So now we've got that. The other thing I was gonna add, but I'm not sure if I will or not, because I think we've got a lot of sweetness in there as it is, was I was gonna add some pineapple. So let's get the can open. And this is always something I feel I should pause for, because there's a disaster always waiting to happen. So while our ramen's cooking, or rather hydrating, it's not really cooking, we're gonna look at, and God, this is a terrible can opener, and there's disaster waiting to happen as well. What we're going to be trying to do is we're going to make our oatmeal with the juice from the pineapple, and we're also going to be adding some pineapple to it. So I think the best oatmeal to use, since we're going with the fruit, is the apples and cinnamon. Now I think there's another one hidden there somewhere. Yep, at the very bottom. So we're going to be using 2 oatmeals. Excuse me. So let's put our oatmeals to the side, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to use this as our oatmeal. We've made our broth, and now we're going to use it again to make our oatmeal. And there's a little residue in, And we are going to be using some of our unsweetened soya beverage also. So one packet goes in, and just give that a little bit of a move around. Throw that in there. What else are we going to toss in? Some coconuts, of course. Good portion of coconuts. We've got coconut and apple and cinnamon flavor. We're going to throw a handful of these in, which is our tropical harvest mist. And as you notice, I've got a little bit of a spring in my step with this one, so I don't know, there's a good amount to toss in, I guess. And we've got some nuts going on, almonds, some pineapple and papaya, and a couple of raisins. So the next fruit we're going to add to this is some of our pineapples, which they don't look very colourful at all, and they almost look white rather than yellow. So we've got some pineapples going in. We're going to add a spoonful of the coconut. We're going to add a little splash of pineapple juice, and the rest is going to be the fortified soy beverage. So all our nutrients, vitamins and good stuff's going in there. We've also got the added ingredients from the pineapples and the nuts and berries, and we're going to add a few cashews in there as well. And what remaining cashews I have are going to go in there. What remaining coconut I have is going to go in there. So we've downsized and pretty much replenished what we've lost or used, and we've made a bigger and better trail mix at the same time. So that's going to the side because that's my snack for later, unless this doesn't fill me up. We've got 2 bags to add to the collection of bags, and we've got some trash for the can. So ramen's cooking. Pineapples, we've used a very few, and what I was going to do, just to say we use pineapple in each dish, we're going to throw a few in there and a little splash of pineapple juice, and I'm going to throw a few more in the oatmeal as well. Why not? Let's gorge. It's a celebration. So we'll put the cans to the side. Now, my God, if I had cookies left, I was going to go and try and make something else that just sprung to mind. I've got coconut milk and pineapples. I could have made a coconut cream pie if I had cream, but we could use just the coconut milk and the pineapples to make another delicious type of dessert. In fact, we are going to do that. We're going to make 3 for 1. Look at us improvising on the go. I almost forgot. We need to add some mango to this. Now, we're not going to even bother with the blunt knife, and we're just going to break this up roughly and far more easily and quickly with our fingers. And sometimes fingers are much more better than utensils. And seeing as I have quite a lot of female audiences, there was some entendre meant in that last comment. Please forgive me, but we're all grown-ups, and I think, you know, once we've been through the I need to go to the bathroom bag and the I gotta go bag together, I think we're on that level of mindset that we can be that way with each other. So back to our mango ripping. It's actually a little bit kind of like those fruity peelable things. We've got a lot of fruit going into our fancy celebration oatmeal. We've got a little bit of fruit going on in our ramen. We've got our spicy sausages. So, you know, this really is going to be quite a substantial and filling 2-course meal, or 2 meals for your day. You know what, fuck off mangoes. I'm getting a bit tired of ripping them up there. giving me arthritis. So they're going to go to the side, and I might even get some scissors, chop them up and throw those in with the trail mix as well. So what were we going to do with the other thing was make a coconut cream pineapple thing. So bear with me as I pause again. Right, so found myself a container, and while I was gone I did use it as an opportunity to take a bathroom break. So we got some stuff put to the side. So as we've got this coconut milk left over, let's pour everything into here. And look how gloopy it was at the bottom. And I was going to make a little bit of an inappropriate joke about content that you may or may not find in adult entertainment, but stopped before I went there. So that's about as much. Can we scrape any more out? Maybe a little bit. So there we go, and we can put our dirty devices in there. We've got a spoon that we can use for eating and mixing. So let's mix up the coconut milk with the, yeah. Okay, I'm going to say it looks like ejaculate. Sorry to ruin your appetite, but there. And there's a lumpy piece. And if you do have lumpy ejaculate, maybe go and see a doctor. That's not normal. So we're mixing up our coconut milk the best we can. And what might help this along is the addition of our pineapples. And we have another empty can and some more trash. So cans and dirty items are over there. So we've got 3 dishes going on, and we were going to start out with 2. And I mean, this isn't really anything very nice, to be honest with you, but pineapple's good, coconut's good, mixing them together I can only see as being something as good, right? Can you see the downside of mixing coconut and pineapples together unless you have some kind of allergy or intolerance to both or either pineapples and coconut? This is a little taste of the tropics, and you know, if you have these items in your bug out bag or in your prepper pantry and you're in your shit hitting the fan situation, making yourself a little meal to eat while you're waiting to die, then you can have a little taste of the tropics and maybe remember the time you went backpacking to Thailand, or when you were on honeymoon in Hawaii before it all went sour and you got divorced. So there we go, a little bit of nonsensical rambling as we mix together our coconut milk and pineapples to make some kind of dessert thing. Now, I'll be honest with you, you could probably throw some oatmeal in there. And as it goes, that is pretty, you know what, let's throw some oatmeal in. What harm can it do? At the minute, it's just condensed pineapples, condensed cans, pineapples and condensed pineapple, fuck me, why can't I talk? Condensed coconut milk, there we go, spit it out. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So, I'm thinking it's a little bit sweet. Let's make it a little bit spicy with the cinnamon and spice. Now what I can actually do is, because this is in a container, I think I have the lid there, what we don't eat we can put in the refrigerator. So let's mix in at least one. Let's put at least one in, see what happens. Sorry, excuse me for sniffling. Winter returned this weekend to Canada, in particular south western Ontario, as well as other parts. In fact, they probably got it worse in north and eastern Ontario. But after a few days and dare I say a couple of weeks of almost early spring-like weather, snow and ice returned to the 6th this weekend, and everybody was beginning to get their spring swagger on, was reduced to getting the parkas and snow boots out again for a couple of days. The snow's since melted, and it's starting to get a little bit warmer, so I kind of don't really know where I was going with that, but maybe a little bit of idle chit chat and present a value while I'm mixing the oatmeal in with the pineapples and coconut milk. I'm not going to go with 2 because that really is far too much oatmeal to eat. In fact, the 2 oatmeals are kind of a little bit of a struggle, and I've got a healthy appetite myself. So there's our 2 meals and a third bonus meal that we made out with remaining leftovers, rather than either just put them in the fridge or eat them at the hour. We're just showing you how we can utilize everything that we have at our disposal to make some meals. And here you see we kind of improvised on the spot. We've got this going on, which I think is ready to go. That doesn't really take much to rehydrate these oats, and that's kind of a reason that I put them or suggest them over things like rice, because they don't take much more water. And in this case we've used pineapple juice, we've used some of the soya beverage that I think I took upstairs. I don't know, never getting forgetful in my old age. So we got all this going on, and by the looks of things, our ramen, let me have a look how that's coming along. Yeah, so it looks like our noodles here have hydrated and they've softened up. We've still got kind of a bit of goopiness going on at the bottom. There's still some liquid left, which would make this a little bit stewy. Not the character from Family Guy, like stewy as in the stew. There's going to be a little bit of excess liquid. So let me show you how it looks for now. You can see there's some nuts and they're not equally distributed. They kind of formed a little cashew posse at the side there. But that's a very filling looking thing going on. We got our little wieners in there, our spicy chicken franks. We've got some mango. We've got a little bit of pineapple, and we've got some nuts. Some cashew nuts in particular. We didn't put any of the tropical berries in there because we didn't want to go that sweet. And I'm even thinking what I might do, just to please some of my viewers who have mentioned that I don't seem to eat hot meals, I might go and toss this one in the microwave. So let me give it a little taste as is and see if I can get everything. I think I got a little bite of most things there. I'm going to pick a piece of mango out with my fingers. Please excuse me. Oh my god, why is everything so difficult when you try? There we are. Not a there you. Oh my god, that tastes really good. Oh my. Whoa. That is probably the best ramen recipe I've ever created. Now, so I've managed to get a little bit of ramen dust on my phone, but holy, that's fucking bomb. Excuse my language, but really I've surprised myself. I'm try and get a bit with the pineapple and a little bit with the nut. So oh my word, the flavors, I can't even. Oh my goodness. And the pineapple, oh dear me. I wish someone was here to sample this with me, because and then afterwards you get a little kick from the chili. So I am actually going to go and toss this into the microwave, but not before we try a little mouthful of the oatmeal. Now, I don't know if you can see in there very clearly. It doesn't look too appetizing right there. But I'm only going to get a little mouthful because I don't want to ruin my appetite for this, because that, honestly, I'm not just saying this because I'm making it and I'm trying to get you to try it. That's a very, very, very good dish right there. So I think I got a little bit of pineapple there. Let's try and get a nut. I got a little bit of mango. Let's see how this came out. Oh my goodness, that too is pretty spectacular. So, you know, you're going to have to take my word for it. I'm not lying. I've been to restaurants where I've paid to have worse tasting food. We already kind of know what this tastes like. I'm not sure if our oats have started to soak up enough in there. I don't think they have. Well, let's try it anyway. So yeah, I don't really think there are enough oats to really soak up and become stodgy like this, but it certainly would add a little bit of nutrients to this particular dish that was made from things that are left over, and that too could almost be heated up, but I don't think I will. So what I am going to do, take a little break. I'm going to take this bad boy and toss it in the microwave and come back and give you a hot review. Back from the kitchen and back from microwaving it. So I tossed this in for like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's piping hot and very, very aromatic. The smells coming off this are pretty good. I don't know. Let's come in and see if we can get that kind of shot going on there where the steam comes off. No steam that I can see in the camera. But there's our meal. Our three dishes. As I said, when we started out, we were only going to make 2, but we improvised and made something of nothing, just like this channel, with the leftover pineapples and things that I'd had lying around in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks just to use them before they go bad. Goodness, I don't know what went on with my accent. I had a little bit of a cough or something going on in the back of my throat, but I'm going to try it while it's hot. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, definitely the heat made it better. And the heat made it much, much better. So I'm not sure, you could always microwave that, but normally we don't heat our meals up and we don't cook them. And we've only done the one recipe where we used a saucepan before, just to show you that we can use a saucepan in some circumstances. But you don't necessarily and didn't have to nuke this in the microwave to get it hot. I just did it as a celebrationary meal. And I have had a comment or two about me not eating a hot meal. So that's everything. These are recipes you can either follow for yourself or use as an influence and throw your own flavors in twists on these things. Certainly the oatmeal is a very, very, very good and nutritious meal to have, in a good way to be either starting your day or maybe even ending your day. And by buying some, you know, instant oats and a couple of bags of trail mix and dried fruit, you could be putting together a pretty healthy and nutritious meal that doesn't cost a fortune. And especially if we're going to be using the fortified soy beverage, that's going to give you all your daily vitamins, or certainly a large proportion of them anyway, as well as filling you up and having a stick to your rib dinner. So not much more really I can say about this. So this is my celebrationary meal for reaching 50 subscribers, making 50 videos, and also for getting a video that watched 100 times, 100 views. My word, I have smoked too much weed today. My apologies for that. But there's been a lot of excitement. For me, it's probably been the most exciting enthralling week of the thrift store prepper history. We've had a lot of subscribers, people commenting, and we've certainly got that little feel of a real YouTube community that is building and starting to grow. So this is my celebratory meal, as I've already said, made from items that you may or may not have at hand or in your prepper pantry. if you are a new subscriber, if you have been following from the start, you've seen that how easy it is to accumulate quite a lot of things by just popping once a week or once every 2 weeks to your local dollar store and spending $20 here, $30 there. It soon mounts up. And I think what else I'd like to say, you've seen how we can put together meals with very little effort, time, or equipment. So it's been a shit video for the Thrift Store Prepper. Thanks for watching.